Romance anime tend to not be one of my favorites, usually due to the lack of originality lately and recycling the same format and trends, which is why Kaguya-sama Love is War has been my favorite romance anime of the last few years. But this year, a new romance anime has become already one of my favorites of the genre, and that anime is Romantic Killer. So without further ado, I am Tiago with Attack on Tiago, and for today's video, I'll be going over Romantic Killer and why it is peak romance. But before getting into the video, a quick synopsis of Romantic Killer. Anzu Hoshino needs only 3 things in her life: video games, chocolate, and her beloved cat. Unlike other high school girls, Anzu has no time for interest in romance, but as she begins playing a poorly programmed 3D otome game, a bizarre flying wizard named Riri emerges from the screen and calls Anzu Subject 1, the first person who will experience a dating game harem storyline in real life. Despite Anzu's fiery protests, Riri confiscates her 3 favorite things to force her to focus on love. Riri then orchestrates a series of unlucky incidences and romantic cliches that lead her to meet Tsukasa Kazuki, one of the most attractive boys in her school. As all the ridiculous, fabricated scenarios help Anzu warm up to Tsukasa's pleasant nature, Riri throws other stereotypical pretty boys her way, and avoiding romance quickly becomes almost impossible. Right from the get-go, the concept feels totally new and fresh. Usually in these types of series, we'd have a main character who's excited and thrilled to have this perfect dream guy, and are so happy to be put in this scenario. And that's where this anime is most different. Anzu is an unconventional romance anime protagonist, who's trying her best to just get back her 3 favorite things: chocolate, video games, and cats, which is all kept away from her from the wizard Riri. And the dynamic between Anzu and Riri is the main highlight of the anime, and that's mainly due to the animation and creative team. Similar to how effective Bocchi the Rock is, and how it's so successful and amazing, Romantic Killer has a top-notch animation and creative team too, with so many callbacks, references, Easter eggs, and just flat-out hilarious moments with all the different expressions they give Anzu. I have to give them praise. If it wasn't for them, this wouldn't have been nearly as entertaining, and many of the scenes would have felt so lackluster. But instead, every scene is just oozing with something to smirk over. Now, since I mentioned Anzu and Riri, let's get into the actual characters, and why all of them work. Well, all but one, but we'll get to them at the end. Starting with Anzu. Like I stated, she's an unconventional romance protagonist, which is already a plus. But on top of that, she's extremely likable and funny, which in part, again, could be because of the creative team, but I think she's very well written. She has excellent chemistry with all the supporting characters, especially Riri. Now, at first glance, I honestly didn't know how to feel about Riri, and initially, I thought they'd get on my nerves and be annoying for me as the series went on. But, actually the opposite effect took place. Riri is such an amazing troll character who kept getting their hands dirty and manipulating so many things to get Anzu and one of the love interests together, almost like a puppeteer, and they led to some of the funniest moments in the series. Now, in terms of her potential love interest, the anime covers 3 guys. The first one, Tsukasa, is the one who got the most screen time and development. Tsukasa is a very reserved guy, yet is very popular with the girls, who consistently ask him out to no avail. He has a very interesting arc in the story, which I actually quite liked. I also feel his chemistry with Anzu is overall the best together. Junta is the second romantic interest we meet. He was an old childhood friend who had a massive glow up, like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in Central Intelligence type glow up. Hijiri is the last romantic interest we meet. Anzu meets him on the classic romance trope where girls late to school and hit by a car. And just so happens that Hijiri is very wealthy, so typical trope where he has to learn that money doesn't buy everything. So good. Now, I mentioned one character didn't quite work, and that is the stalker character. It's not that she's a stalker for why I didn't like her. Wait, let me word that differently. There's more to her just being a stalker that makes her part in the anime not work. So she's already super unlikable, and I feel the anime spent a little too much time on her arc, which to me was definitely the weakest part. But other than that, I have no complaints with the anime. Overall, this was honestly one of my favorite anime experiences of the year. Romantic Killer brought a refreshing, fun take on a genre full of copycats. And to top it all off, the animation production studio, Domerica, was only responsible for helming 4 other anime before this one, all of which were not well received, which is insane given how amazing they did on this. All 12 episodes are already out for Romantic Killer, so do yourself a favor and go watch this peak romance. Well everyone, that is it for the video. If you have seen Romantic Killer, let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really means a lot to me. I am Tiago, Attack on Tiago, and I hope you all have a nice day.